Good morning, everyone. Good morning. You know, we've got all these athlete shout-outs. How about my ROTC? I see you guys all out there in uniform. There we go. I'll make it short and sweet. So, you know, we're talking about obstacles, adversity in life. We all face it each and every day. Some big, some small, but every day we're going to face adversity in our life. Good thing about adversity is that you may not be able to control what happens to you, but you do have full control over your attitude and how you're going to react to these things that happen to you. You know, the other thing is that you need some tools when you're dealing with these adversities, things like that. You know, one of my first obstacles in life, big obstacle for me, was graduating high school. I didn't think it was very important when I was going through high school. I soon kind of snapped myself out of it and realized if I wanted to do anything, I had to at least get this first step done, graduate from high school. So I did that, and soon after, I wanted to figure out what I wanted to do the rest of my life. I was starting a new chapter. Going to college wasn't for me at the time, but I wanted to do something meaningful. So I decided to join the Marine Corps. Best decision I ever made. Decision that wouldn't have been possible if I hadn't finished high school. So I'm kind of glad that I made that decision. So, you know, I went off to the Marine Corps, went to boot camp, started my training, started to realize the importance of that education. When I started doing my training, started using math. I didn't think I'd use math ever again. All sorts of things, everything from learn how to survive in the wilderness to, you know, patching up, doing medical aid on a fellow wounded Marine. So each and every day learning more and more tools to help me through these obstacles as I went through life. Did my training, went on my first tour to Iraq. Every day there while I'm on that tour to Iraq, training, education was used to keep myself and my teammates alive. On my third tour to Iraq, the Humvee that I was driving hit an IED, improvised explosive device. I woke up about a day and a half later in the hospital, don't remember any of it, but the first thing that went through my head when I woke up, realized that my legs were blowing off, but I wasn't in Iraq anymore. It was victory. Victory was the first thing that went through my head. I survived, I would go home and see another day. And I was faced with a new challenge in my life, but I knew at that point in time I had complete control over how I was going to deal with that, and I was going to turn it into a positive. I wasn't going to let it affect me in a negative way. I didn't know what to do as an amputee now. Never been an amputee, never met one. So I started making a list of things that I wanted to do, see if I could do it. That list consisted of just about everything I used to do when I had legs. And I went out and I went skiing and tried snowboarding, water skiing, got back on my Harley again. All these things that I used to do, I realized one thing: I still suck at bowling, with or without legs. But I realized that I can tackle any of these obstacles, take these tools, these things that I learned throughout life, turn all these obstacles into a positive, and have a meaningful life. I have complete control of that. You know, these fancy little ankles you can see, I don't know if you see them, you know, they're battery operated, they're robotic ankles. A man, an amputee, just as myself, as a teenager, lost both his legs. He met an obstacle in life, but he wanted to change that. And so he didn't have the tools he needed at the time, so he went back to school, got an engineering degree, eventually getting his doctorate in engineering, and at MIT created these robotic ankles that I wear today. But 2 years ago, I started snowboard cross racing in the Paralympics, and picked up snowboarding, thought racing would be cool. What I realized is that the legs that I use for walking didn't work so well on the snowboard anymore. And there wasn't anything available out there. So I was met with another obstacle in my life, and instead of giving up and trying something else, inspired by the man who created the ankles that I walk on, I'm going back to school now, receiving my engineering degree, where one day I hope to create my own set of prosthetic snowboarding legs so people can get out there and snowboard and have that ability that comes back. So, I'll leave you guys with one thing, as I said in the beginning. Stuff happens in life, you know? Most of the time we have no control over what those things are going to happen. But the one thing we do have 100% control over is going to be our attitudes going forward, how we're going to deal with that. Whether we're going to turn it into a negative or we're going to turn it into a positive. And everything in life, every obstacle, every challenge that we face can be turned into a positive. And it will change things for you. So I'll leave that with you. Thank you very much for your attention.